When a wife says, I know my husband, he's not a drunk. My husband does not drink. Be careful. Because seeing him drinking or taking champagne or beer or alcohol every now and then don't make him a drunk. So if you tell the wife, your husband is a drunk, she will tell you, my husband is not a drunk. He drinks every now and then, but he's not a drunk. Don't argue with her. She knows something you don't know. The knowing I'm talking about here is not by what you have read. It's not about what you've been told or what you've heard. It's what you have personally experienced. Many years ago at Bolgatanga, where Pastor Eastwood is from, I went to the cemetery to bury a teacher that died at the Church of Pentecost. And something strange happened on our way back. The truck we sat in, it was a wooden truck, went up the highway opposite the Bolgatanga court. And there's something called Edu Jemfi Quarters on the right. So the court, if you're standing this way, is on the left, and the Edu Jemfi Quarters is on the right. And the truck went off into the valley. And people's bodies were being thrown out of the truck. And I remembered, I screamed, Jesus! Jesus! And a hand held me under my armpit, but I didn't see anybody. And the hand carried me up my feet and set me on the hill by the street. I was the only survivor. It was a huge issue at Bolga at that time. And I was living with an auntie of mine who told me not to go to that funeral and said, stop going to that church. And she commanded me to go to another church I will not mention. And I said, no, I won't go to that church. I'll go to Pentecost. When the accident took place and I stood on my feet this way, I lifted up my eyes. The first thing I saw was this auntie standing in the bush there. There were a lot of corn plantation there. And it was a Catholic school. She was standing there and she was laughing. I saw her tits. I didn't see anything. Many years after, and I backslided after that, went into the world. And after I returned from Bible school, and I had clarity and understanding that God had called me to ministry, and that was the reason for why I was born, that I was a chosen vessel. And that is the reason for all the foolishness. When I understood that I was chosen and not just called, and at a point when God began to give me a deeper understanding and I had an experience of God and understood that my life is in the hollow of his hand, I confronted her and I said, Auntie, at Bolga, at this year and this date and time, when the accident took place, what were you doing where you were standing? And he said, what are you? And I said, I saw you. You were laughing. Why were you there? He said, oh, I was there because I heard about the accident. And I said, Auntie, it's impossible. Where we live, behind the government transport estate, and the Jemfi estate is a long journey and walk, and you don't have a car, you don't drive. How did you get there immediately when the accident took place? She looked at me, she said nothing. I kept quiet, I never mentioned it again. Listen, I know things I can't utter, and I know things I don't say anything about. But he said, listen, the most important thing is for you to know. Say, it's for you to know. Sometimes there are things God wants you to know, but he doesn't want you to do anything about it. Just know it. The knowing alone is enough, because when you know, you are armed.